Habari Gani, brother Jay. Habari Gani.
Kuumba.
Kuumba. Creativity. This is a fun one, brother Jay. Because in doing research, one thing that I learned about Kwanzaa is that the activities that take place throughout the week long celebration, um, especially around special reverence for the creator and the creation. You know, Kuumba ties into creativity. You know, we were placed on this earth to express ourselves and be uh, shining lights of the greatest light. And so, Kuumba, for me, I enjoy learning about the poems and the songs and the dances
Mhm.
uh, as part of the activities of the week long celebration. I've never done it personally, but I think it's kind of dope to have a piece of art or, whether it's a poem or song, a dance, some kind of freedom of expression where you can contribute to the village and discuss it and express it and talk about why it's meaningful to you, right? I mean, we kind of do this all the time as far as different songs or different poems that we learned when we were online, or
Mhm. Mhm.
different country expressions or different expressions that old people say. Like, it's
Mhm.
that creativity and that expression. I really do think that's how we build the village and how we form the village through our creativity. When they talk about the culture, like the culture in America, the culture is black culture, man. Let's just keep it a buck. When you talk about the culture, I think it's about our influence and our ability to create this culture and this tapestry of artistic expression. Like black music, brother Jay, black music pretty much drives everything, all the other music that comes out of America. It's black music. It's founded in black music. So when you talk about Kuumba, that creativity, like that's like the soul or the essence of who we are, man. The ability to be slaves, and they give us the scraps, and we turn it into chitlins, collard greens, and neck bones with some cornbread.
Mine is the chitlins. I was with you, but I think this. I like how this principle falls right after Nia because it's it's a requirement of Nia. Um, Principle states to always do as much as we can in every way that we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than what we inherited. And living out your purpose, right? You have the freedom to exhibit that creativity
True.
however you can in as many ways as you can to reach all that you can for as long as you can. And with this, we have storytelling of how, as old folks used to say, how I got over. Um, the songs. Black people have been creative since we've got here. Follow the Drinking Gourd wasn't about a drinking gourd. It was about trying to find yourself in the pathway of freedom. Wade in the water was about going through the water. That way, your scent is lost within the water and dogs will not be able to smell you. So go through the water to get to freedom. Any opportunity you have, instead of going around, go through. And God's going to trouble the water, meaning your scent will not be detected once you go through. And so if we continue to utilize all of these things that are within our reach, I think that we will definitely activate those superpowers, which were supposed to happen on December 21st, according to Black Twitter.
That's right, man. That's right, man. I was hoping my superpower, I would be able to just make $1 million at a time just appear in my account.
That's
That was what I was waiting on, but I don't think.
that's magic. But I think
Yeah.
we are already in possession of our superpowers, and now it's time to go from principle to practice.
Hmm.
And with this, right, we use what we have, turn it into what we need, and so that the generations that come after us, once again, their basement will be our ceiling, right? If we are only able to make it to the 12th floor by the time we expire and transition from a descendant to an ancestor, may the 12th floor be the basement of my children.
Yeah.
May they have to go no lower than the highest rung that I've climbed on this ladder. And I think with that notion, in terms of creativity, right, there's no limitation to it, which I think is also a beautiful principle of Kwanzaa.
That was a question that I was going to ask you. But with this principle, you're the creative dude, man. As far as our duo, and I often tell people that on the podcast, like how does it work so well? It's like, oh well, he's Dr. Dre, and I'm Snoop Dogg. Like that's how it works. Like we kind of know what we bring to the table, and the product comes out great that way. And when we accept each other for who we are. But when you think about creativity, do you think that you have mastered this principle at being the creative person that you are, or do you look at it like, okay, I've just, I've just scratched the surface of where I can go with my creativity,
I,
just because you know your purpose.
I think that's one of the things where, similar to what I tell my students, your resume isn't done until it turns into an obituary. And so I don't think creativity is something that you will ever be able to master because you are constantly receiving inspiration. Um, is this something that you could tap into and assess and be fully aware of? Yes. But I think once we come to the level where we say we have mastered our own creativity, that's
Mm.
when we begin to make ceilings appear when there shouldn't be. And so have I mastered it? Not quite. Nowhere near it.
Yeah, this one also gets me. This principle also gets me out of my comfort zone to really do more reflecting on how I can create. Because I talk a lot of trash that, I'm not a creative, but I really am. I might not have the technical acumen to execute a vision, but I have like the strategy and the mind frame of what it needs to look like, and the kind of output or outcome needs to take place in order for it to look right. I that's my lane. But platforms and how to do it. That's something that I'm actually just working on, man. I guess
Mhm.
writing down thoughts and strategies. I went to a vision session to get a understanding, like, okay, am I on the right track? Not necessarily like how to do a vision board, but am I on the right track? Am I expecting the creativity just to fall out of the sky into my lap? And so, but I do think creativity requires you to reflect a little more, because most folks don't know where their talents lie
Mhm.
to be creative. You don't necessarily have to be an artist that paints pictures to be creative. You don't have to be a musician to play music to be creative,
Right.
right? You might know the type of music that needs to be played at an event that you're hosting to raise money to get people in the mood to give more money.
Mhm.
Like that might be your talent, not necessarily the music, or even the ability to just present the ask in that room. It might be your talent to just make sure that all of the parts are moving accordingly for the desired outcome. And I don't think we think about creativity from that lens often, or often enough.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have a one track mind when it comes to creativity. And I think once we see that it spills over into each aspect of our lives, we'll be able to execute more efficiently and effectively within this purpose.
Kuumba, creativity. Creativity. The sixth principle of the seven for Kwanzaa. And later we will discuss the final principle of Kwanzaa, Imani, faith. So we'll be back.